Hi, y'all. It's Angela, and I'm back for another episode of Business Unveiled. And I am so excited about today's guest because she has been on our old podcast that was Weddings Unveiled. And we both have had a few transitions in our careers, as well as this journey in the creative, crazy world, but fun and rewarding, as we call it. And so her name is Curry, and Curry is amazing at creativity. She is the owner and lead designer of Curry and Co. Events, LLC. She's from Nashville, Tennessee, where I'm from, but I'm pretty sure she'll go wherever her clients need her to go because she's always up for a great challenge.
Welcome to Business Unveiled, the podcast designed to help you thrive in the creative community. Here's your host, events and productivity consultant, Angela Profit.
Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Business Unveiled. Expert tips and secrets from top creative industry professionals, where we take you behind the scenes of our past experiences in the creative industry and share with you what we have learned from them and how they have made us stronger. This podcast will help you grow a productive and profitable business to launch you into success within the creative industry. Are you looking for a community of like-minded people to help you GSD? That's get shit done for your business. Well, guess what? If you are serious, and I mean serious, about being a leader as an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a small business owner, whatever you want to call it, you are personally invited to an exclusive Facebook group called I Am a GSD Leader, where we all collaborate on giving value and getting value. So here's the link. Are you ready? It's bit.ly/I am a GSD leader. So send me a request and let's get going on GSDing. Curry, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm so excited to be here. I was looking forward to this all week long. Um,
Yay!
yeah, I call this the Where Are They Now episode.
And I love it because so you guys, Curry reached out to me via just social media, and she's like, "Hey, I think it would be a great idea to chat with you so that your audience and your listeners can know how drastically your life and your business can change for the better in a year." And so Curry has been alongside me for, I would say, over half of my journey as an entrepreneur, and really stuck in there. We both come from a healthcare background, and there's just so many levels that we connected when I first met her. And so for those of you who haven't been on our Instagram for a very long time since we've had it, we have a contest called Angela SOS, and Curry was our very first winner, and she didn't know she won something. So Curry, share with us how that went down.
So I've always followed Angela in all of her fabulous weddings for years, since I first started 7 years ago. And she ran this contest, and it was an hour of free business training with her. And I was like, oh my God, you can't put a price on that. Like, I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to apply. I'm going to submit. I'm going to follow. I'm going to like, and I hope that I win, because that's like having an opportunity to sit down with Oprah and you not take it. Like, why would you not do that? So I did. And so I get this, I knew that the contest was coming out. I knew that it was going to be revealed shortly. But in the meantime, I received this email from this young lady who said, I'm helping my friend who's the bride, and we need to meet with you. We're getting married at the Skirmahorn, and she wants to meet with a couple florists, and she wants to, I'll be in town, so I'm going to help meet some of the vendors for her. And I was like, that's fine. I'm always throwing curveballs. I will meet with grooms and mothers and all types of people, so I don't mind at all. So I get there and I'm like, you know what? They're getting married at the Skirmahorn. Like, I got to make sure I bring it. Like, I'm going to bring coffee. Like, I'm going to take them down to the West End and go to the little coffee shop and just get them some snacks, whatever, like trying to impress them. And I get there and they're like, no, we actually have a room for you to go to. And I was like, what? Oh my God. Okay. And then I'm going in the elevator and I'm trying to get some information out of this young lady, like the maid of honor, and she's not budging. She has a poker face on. Why does this girl have a poker face on? I'm like, we're just talking about weddings. Like, you could share some information. And we get up there and I'll open these double doors and it's Angela with these poppers and streamers everywhere. And she's like, you won. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never been speechless in my life. But and then it's this big, huge 70-inch TV with my Instagram, a picture of my Instagram up there, and this big sign that says, congratulations, Curry. And that was the moment that everything changed. And that was probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah, like honestly. It gives me chills. And the funny thing is like I was kind of in the dark as you were. So I had a strategy planning day with one of my newer team members at the time. And so we're halfway through the strategy day and she's like, so I picked a winner for this contest that we're doing on how you can help give back to the community. And she just comes up with these things. And I'm like, that sounds great. I'll help anybody who, actually wants to do better. And so she's like, I need you the day before. She's like, I need you to bring some of those popper things that we use at some of the weddings. And do you, in iTunes, like, do you have that celebration song, that they play at every wedding? I'm like, yeah, I probably. And I didn't think anything of it because, there's too much going on in my head half the time. And so I'm like, I'll just put the poppers in my car and I'll figure it out when I get there. So about 5 minutes before you came up, she's like, oh, the time we need to take a break. And I'm like, a break? I'm like, do you need to go to the bathroom? Like, we don't really take breaks. And she's like, no. She's like, I picked a winner and she's parking right now. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, I picked a winner. And I kind of told her a story. And so I hope that you don't care, but like, she thinks that she's coming to meet with a bride and you're not a bride. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I was so confused. And she's like, no, it's the winner it's our first winner for Angela SOS. And like, we're in this beautiful room doing a strategy day at the West End, which, you guys, if you aren't from Nashville, first off, backing up, the Skirmahorn is the Symphony Center in Nashville, right in the middle of the heart of downtown. It's gorgeous. It's probably one of our favorite places to work, corporate, but really for weddings. I mean, it is they have everything from A to Z. And it is quite nice to be able to be in the heart of downtown, but also be secluded. So it's a beautiful location. And then the West End, which is right down the road, which is, 30 something floors high. And we were almost on the top, so you can like see the whole city. And I'm all about views and I get inspiration from that. And so this team member, she's like, all right, I'm going down to get her and then we're going to be back up. And oh, by the way, I need you to get those poppers and turn that song on. And she's like, so the next hour, she's like, we're going to talk to the winner. Her name is Curry. And I'm like, okay. That was it.
Oh my God.
So I was caught off guard just like you were. But I knew that we were picking a winner. I just didn't know how we were going to do it. And so I love being surprised in giving other team members the leverage to like do whatever they feel can really make a difference in someone's life. And so when you reached out to me and you were like, I really want to do another follow-up podcast. Now we're talking more like business and strategy on the podcast and tell people like this can work. This can happen because where you were and like where you are now, first off, I'm so proud of you. But just share with us, and before we even go onto your business, like Curry has children. How many kids do you have?
4.
Four. Okay, y'all. Not one, not two, not three, but four. She
Hmm.
has an amazing supportive husband. Like she's a family mom and she runs a business and she used to have a job. Like you can't tell me or give me any excuses that you can't do this because if
Yeah.
she can do it, you can do it.
Yep.
So,
And one in college.
and which is crazy. I mean, and he's playing football, right? At UT?
Yep. For you, go
Yes.
Vols.
So go Vols. I went to UT. And so we were so good when I was there. Peyton Manning was there. So we like used to win. And so hopefully your son will help bring us back to life. Go
I'm
Vols.
hoping. That is my prayer.
Right. And so just take us along your journey. I mean, I know that you've always been creative. We know that you worked in healthcare, but when did you really know, like, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to jump, I can do this? And how has your business changed since we've last had you on the podcast?
So honestly, and not to put a lot of pressure on you, but that meeting literally changed my life. I
Oh,
I'm not lying to you. Your listeners need to know this. This is not a game. This is not a drill. This is code red. This is for real. It was like if these people, these creative women saw something enough in you to choose you. They've had hundreds of entries, so many companies to choose from, so many business owners, so many different type of businesses, but for some reason something stuck out about you. And if they saw a little bit of something in me, then I have got to see something in myself. So
absolutely.
like literally right after I met with you guys and I left that hotel, I tried to do a cartwheel like in the parking lot. It didn't
I
go
love it.
so well, but I was like, oh, next time. But as soon as I got in the car, I get this email from Layla Fox Photography. She's a photographer that's based in Lebanon. And she sent me all of the photos from the first wedding that I did once I got back off of maternity leave. And to see how beautiful those photos were, I was like, this is God sending me a sign. The stars are aligning. It literally brought tears to my eyes. I think I was happy for at least 2 weeks. Like the sky
That's
could have
awesome.
fell, somebody could have broke a bone, lights could have got turned off. I didn't care. I was like, I'm happy and everything is all perfect, you know? And it changed everything. When I left there, Aja, still to this day, I still have this list on my Google Drive, but Aja gave me a list of things to do and things to work on. Um, as far as social media is concerned, as far as editing and verbiage and creative ways, like she just gave me this wonder list. And every single time I finished something on that list, I would check it off. I mean, even 3 years later, to say that I'm done with that entire, I think the last thing is like the final website, but that's it. Like, and I think that's getting done August 1st. Just
Whoa.
because, yeah, because my website is like have done, have not done. I have to be extremely proud of what I'm putting out. And if I don't feel like I'm at that point, or if I don't feel like I have images that are worthy, um, then I just won't do it. Like I got to get to a certain point. And so I'm finally there. It's taken a while, but I am a little bit of a perfectionist because I feel like I got one time to do this, one time to get it right. I've always worked full time and did weddings here and there, but this is it. This is my coming out party. This is all I have. So I just to go back a little bit. So as far as the corporate world, I took this job. It was a really good job. And it was a lot of money. And I was excited because it was more into the marketing. So I was more of like hospital liaison, still marketing to the local hospitals here in Nashville, but really more of the marketing. And I was so excited about that because learning to market in healthcare was essentially also going to help me market in my own business because it's
100%.
Literally the same thing. How do you get referrals from case managers at hospitals in order for them to send them to your building or your facility? You go out, you meet with them, you bring nut and bundt cakes, you bring Christy cookies, you chat with these women, you make friends with them. It's the
Bring
same.
food
You bring food
to the doorkeepers.
Correct. And that's what was key. But something like huge happened, and I got laid off from that job. And I did everything right. My numbers were perfect. Everything was good. Bought brand new relationships to that company that they've never had before, new hospitals that they've never received referrals from. 2 weeks into the job, I found out that the lady who I was replacing, they said that she was on medical leave. That was a lie. She was actually locked up in jail.
Oh.
Yeah, she had 3 DUIs.
Oh.
And she had to turn herself in. So I was brought into this company with false pretenses, like they did not tell the truth up front. This lady got released from jail and they bought her back PRN.
WTF.
Yes. And then they decided to keep her
Wow.
over me.
Wow.
I don't understand how anybody can market without having a driver's license. First of all, you can't Uber everywhere
Nope.
to every hospital. You just can't do it. That's clearly a felony charge. And I kept saying, God, what is going on? What is this? I mean, to the point where the employer asked me not to sue them.
Wow.
It's like, wow, this is crazy. Normally, I've tried to leave corporate multiple times, and my husband's like, are you crazy? We have kids, we have food, we have this, we need to pay this, But this time he was like, Curry, I don't know. This is, if there's a better time for you to do it, it's do it now. He's like, it's the perfect opportunity. He's like,
Everything happens for a reason.
everything happens for a reason. So for the last 3 months, I have been running my business full time. I have been marketing full time. I have been strategizing. I have things in the works that I'm so excited about that I can hardly contain myself. So I can't wait till we get to the part where you start to ask me about that.
But you have made so many improvements, like in such a short period. And like, I just want to say it again because, everything happens for a reason. And when sometimes we think it's like the worst thing in the world and we're looking at it so negatively and it's like, God, why are you doing this to me? But I mean, there's a higher power in charge. And sometimes you just have to let that higher power be in charge. And so it's like a blessing and a curse, but you don't know it's a blessing until you're like, okay, I got this thing. But, I know just because I know you, like within that time frame, instead of spending 9 to 5 working for someone else and building up their business, in that time, I know that you have used that time wisely. And so you have created processes and strategies and relationships, and it frees up your time to focus. And you put yourself out there, you put your face out there, you're consistent. And like you said, you followed a plan that Aja gave you. And before we move on to that, what's the most on that list, which I know the list is a little lengthy and you can't do everything in a week or even a month. What would you say is like the number one thing you did that stuck out?
The biggest thing for me would be social media. Do not be afraid. A lot of people that are in this industry that I run into typically are a lot younger than me. And they have no kids. They have, some of them don't even have dogs. It's just them. And they have hours and hours and hours to do social media and to create content. And I said, you know what, Curry, you can do it. But Angela said, make a schedule.
Yep.
There's time, there's a place to get shit done.
GSD.
Hello. I'm not sitting there listening to all your podcasts because I feel like it. No, This is free information that is out there for anybody to listen to. And I go back and I listen to them again. I listened to every single podcast a year ago. Then I turned back around the next year and I listened to it again. And I was like, oh, that same thing happened to me. And I knew how to deal with it because Angela told me, and it's like, this happened, and having a rain plan and all these different things. But that was the thing that stuck out the most to me, is that Aja said, Curry, you have got to get with the times, girl. You have got to get on social media. You have got to be consistent. And for me, the thing that I struggle with the most was brand identity. I was taught by 5 or 6 different florists 5-7 years ago how to create the artistry of floral design. So I could do anything. That's why a lot of people ask me to freelance, because they can make a mock-up and I can just do it. And it's not hard for me at all. But I had to identify what my style is, my personal style. So, you have those people who love the very moody designs, very dark designs. You have the ones that will primarily work with just hydrangea and, peonies and that kind of thing. But I said, what is Curry? What is Curry and Co events? How am I going to stick out in such a saturated market? What makes me different?
And what have you learned?
This aha moment came. And I said, I have got to be true to myself. So what we're going to do, and this is what's going on in the next 30 days. We are launching Curry & Co Luxe. Curry & Co Luxe is it's basically where I have a relationship with vendors in every single category. 3 vendors in each category. So I have 3 wedding planners to choose from. I have 3 photographers to choose from. I have 3 cake designers, pastry chefs to choose from. But these are vendors that I worked with before, that in some sort of capacity, that I know that their stuff is amazing, that their services are on point, that I never have any issue. All of my draping now comes from Quest. I've worked with them on multiple occasions with different florists, different event vendors, and I've worked with them personally. And so they're my go-to people for draping, because I know they're going to be there for setup and strike on time. I know that the drapes are going to be steamed. I know that they're going to bring extras. It's just, I had a bad wedding experience where I had to work with some vendors that I've never worked with before, and some stuff was dropped off that was the incorrect item, and we couldn't do anything to fix it. And at that point I said, you know what? No, I want to create a dream team. So Curry & Co Luxe is you basically choosing to work with these groups of vendors that I have, because I can guarantee, other than Mother Nature, that everything else is going to be on point. Everything else is going to be beautiful. I can't tell you, looking at a picture and seeing some linens that are not steamed by the wedding planner drives me nuts.
Laziness.
Drives me nuts. And so I'm like, no, if my team is part of this, is that not only are we going to do the floral, but we're going to be a part of the overall design. I'm going to go with you to Please Be Seated, and we're going to pick out the stemware and the glassware and the chargers and the plates. We are going to go to Quest, and we're going to pick out chandeliers. We are going to go to Bright Events, and we're going to pick out, everything that we need to pick out. We're going to go to La Tavola, and we're going to look at linens. We're going to do this with your wedding planner. But I have got to be a part of the overall design, because eventually, within the next 2 years, we are trying to transition into an overall design firm where we can just do total design, whether it's for corporate or weddings or whatever. And I just got some exciting stuff today that just happened that nobody knows. So only your listeners are going to hear this. But
What is it? FOMO.
So there's a restaurant called Steak here in Nashville. Their steak in New York has this really beautiful floral hedge wall that's like a permanent fixture. It is obviously silks so that it can last forever, but they've asked me to do that for them.
But that's
So
okay, right?
no,
That's
it's
amazing.
perfectly fine because steak is such a great brand. It's a great steakhouse. I mean, their motto is it's not your dad's average steakhouse.
It
So
ain't.
that that wouldn't have happened 3 years ago because I was not marketing the way that I was supposed to. I was not making the connections that I needed to. You told me that if I go out and I go to these marketing events and this, know who's going to be there prior to. Know who you want to talk to. Don't go there. I don't have time to waste. So if I'm going to be there for 40 minutes, there's 3 people guaranteed that I know who I want to talk to. I want to make a connection with them. I want to introduce myself to them and I want to leave. So I remember you telling me, like, if you're going to go somewhere, know who you're going to talk to before you get there. Like, just don't go and walk the room
That's
like we
right.
all got free time. So there are so many things that winning that contest changed for me personally and just gave me a sense of what just confidence because I, I I did not know how beautiful my work was. I just thought it was gorgeous. And you have your mom and your husband who were like, it's beautiful. But I'm like, you technically have to say that.
Right.
But to see people on the outside, like I've recently been working a lot with a place called the Flower Shop here in Nashville. And she is extremely creative. And just to see all these beautiful designs and to see the things that I've created and I've touched. And I'm like, oh my God, I really can do any design. I really can help anybody, but I have got to figure out what I love. So my style is more of classic elegance. I want my brides and clients to look back on their wedding photos and say, not that, oh my God, I got married in the 80s or, oh my God, that is truly early 90s. I want them to think classic estate tables, beautiful crystal, tons of candlelight, beautiful flowers, but not just your typical roses or your garden roses or your peonies, but looking at other flowers that you never really saw the beauty in before. Because anybody can make you a hydrangea ball. I can
That's
make
right.
one in 7 minutes. Trust me, they've clocked me already because I had to knock out like 15, you know? And so what we're doing is we have this big branding style shoot that we have scheduled at the end of the month at this beautiful new venue in Nashville called 1410. We have the most amazing vendors coming in to create this magical world for me. We have beautiful wedding dresses, hair and makeup. I just got an email today saying that American Jewelry is going to be on board. So they're going to provide all of the diamonds for this style shoot. We have beautiful mirrored tables, glass. I mean, it's my personal style. It's almost like that movie, If You Build It, They Will Come.
Amen.
Because I can't tell you how many people. I should have known something was crazy when the last bride was like, can you spray paint some flowers for me?
What?
And I was like, well, what color? She's like, teal. I was like, oh God, okay. And 5 years ago that would have been fine, but I realized that that's not me.
Right.
It's not me. Classic elegance, luxury. I can't tell. I'm so excited for what's about to happen. And then also these vendors that are on my vendor list, my preferred vendor list. And I don't know if you know Angela, but you're up there on that
Woohoo!
list as one of the 3 wedding planners. And whoever I send you will be able to afford you. Know that. I'm not wasting nobody's time. I'm
Is a
sorry.
different experience.
It is a different experience. But what I've done is I put together these beautiful luxury gift boxes to give my clients. So I have these matte black, beautiful boxes that we have a bottle of champagne. We have Boss water. I've gotten a custom candle created because I'm also coming out with a candle line that I'm going to be able to have as a shop option on my website pretty soon. So we've custom made these candles that are, the scent is going to be sparkling champagne, and they're going to put rose gold and gold flecks inside the candle for me.
I
And
love it.
it's a matte black candle. The jar is actually a matte black. We've changed our logo a little bit because I want to stay true to myself.
I
Period.
love it. I
Like
love it.
I gotta be honest. It's just like these clients are paying thousands of dollars for, like the last wedding I worked, this lady paid $100,000 for flowers alone. And that's fine for her if that's what she wants. But I have to be able to execute that. And I have to be
100%.
able to know what I'm talking about. And I have to be able to have a team that is just as professional, because that's a lot of money and we don't want to waste that. We don't want to make mistakes with $100,000. We don't want to make a mistake with $5,000. So
Every
that's what's
penny
going on.
matters.
Every penny matters. So that's what we've done. We've transitioned. I've identified who I am. I've identified what my brand is. I'm strategically marketing. I've gotten a lot better with social media. All of my contracts are done. My contact forms, just everything, just even down to my floral recipes. Because if you get with a wedding planner that truly knows what they're doing, they're going to want to know what your floral recipes look like. They're going to want to know how many counts, how many this, how many that. Is there extra? Are the cake flowers separate? It's a different world. And where I was then, I didn't know. I was not ready 3 years ago to take a $6,000 wedding, let alone a $10,000 wedding.
But look at how far you've come.
Yeah, it took a lot. It's been ugly. Some of the ride has been ugly. I am not going to lie.
It makes you stronger, right?
It does. And there's something that you always say. You said it's not a bad wedding or a bad situation. These are just teachable moments. Like there's this specific word that you use, and I can't get it off.
They're opportunities.
That is
learn. You don't know what you don't know. And a couple of things that I really want to point out, like, because you've really learned the value in a very short period of time. So first, when we first talked about video and social media, I remember you would never show your face at first.
Nope.
And you would be like showing the flowers and a dress. And I'm like, but where are you, Curry? And you're like, oh, I don't have makeup on. I'm like, girl, listen, I was so you years ago where and people don't believe me when I say I'm a behind the scenes girl. I don't want to be in front of the camera. I don't need to be on the camera. I don't want to be in the spotlight. It's about me putting other people in the spotlight, making them look good and their stuff looks pretty. But the moment I started to put myself out there and just be more open and honest, and it's like, shit ain't perfect. And no, I don't always have makeup on. In fact, half of the week I'm in PJs with my dogs working on my couch. Like, that's just reality. And it's like, once people know you're human and they start to see you, not only did you put your face out there on social media, you physically got out there and you started to network and you started to give to the community and you started to be intentional about your networking and you started to really, again, put your face out there, and you've got to put yourself out there. And so you have learned that works. So that's the first thing that I'm so proud of you, because I remember when you started.
It was terrible. The lighting was horrible. Oh,
but it's not about that. It's about the value that you're showing. And it's not about perfect lighting. It's not about perfect clothes and hair and makeup, because that shit ain't real. Like, it's just not. Like, that's not reality. And don't even get me started on reality shows with weddings, but that's a whole nother tangent. But the other thing to point out is that you have learned in a short period of time that if you are in control and you drive the experience, not just from the florals, but your florals can shine even greater and deeper, and you can enrich the overall look, feel, visual identity, whatever you want to call it, of everyone's event, if you have a say in a collaboration with not only the design vendor slash team, but you're driving that entire experience. And that can make it can make your floral shine. And that's something that you kind of just have to go through. And so when people say, well, do you use so and so and so and so? And why are you in bed with so and so? Because, I mean, do they pay you a kickback? It's like, it's not about money, first off. It is about relationship, having the same goals, being on the same page. And every time I break my process, I literally want to strangle myself. And still to this day, almost 20 years in, I broke my process last week. I don't know if you saw my story and what the florist did. Did you see it?
Wait, what did the florist? Oh,
So
no.
it was a friend. This was a wedding for over 500 people outside. We went through 2 tornadoes. And then all of a sudden it was like perfect. Like the weather was perfect. Every single one of my normal team vendors were like, how can we help? What can we do? Everybody was just like in action panic mode, but in a good way. And so that we get the ceremony started, we move it back an hour and a half, and then I'm going into the tent and I'm like, why are all of the flowers sitting on the tables in Oasis and Lomi dishes? And I'm like, I'm confused. And I'm like, maybe the glassware is under the table. Because I did say, I'm like, put everything under the table, like put chairs on top of the linen so they don't fly away. We have 40 minutes before this crazy storm's coming in. And so finally, one of my team members got her on the phone and she's like, oh, I took all the vases because it was too windy. And she said, in my contract, I have a clause that said liability wise that I have the right to make that call. And I'm like, well, a couple things. First off, if I had been involved in the design from day one, we would never, ever, ever, ever have those tall vases in an outdoor wedding, period. Like that's just kind of common sense. Like you just don't do that. And again, I've learned from experience. They've never done a wedding this large. They do have a cute little shop. But having a shop and doing offsite events, it's like a restaurant and offsite catering, 180 degrees difference.
Correct.
And it's so different. And so she's like, I'm like, so that's the first thing. I was like, secondly, liability. I mean, if you have insurance, you shouldn't be worried about anything. I realize the safety, but why the hell did you leave? I mean, these people invested a lot of money into you and this event at their home. Really, that was like for the whole town.
She left it on the table with just Lomi dishes.
Yep. So
that is the trickiest thing I have ever. Holy
and guacamole. I wanted to cry because there was nothing I could do. Nothing. And she's like, I'm an hour and a half away. What do you want me to do? I'm not driving back over there. I'm like, well, even if you did, like the ceremony's going on, people are about to walk over to the tent. And the fact, I think I was more like hurt, like literally hurt that she just didn't at least communicate to me her concern and we talk through a plan. Like just taking them and leave. So, a couple of things. There was no relationship there. There was zero respect. In fact, one of her like little helpers screamed at me throughout the day. I'm like, I don't need your unprofessional opinion. Okay. I think I know what I'm doing. Because she was like, you just care about what this looks like and you should only care about the bride. I'm like, well, ma'am, when you're hired to do productions like this, I actually have to care about not only 515 guests, but the 220 vendors that are here as well. So it's not just about the bride. It's about every single person and every single hand that acts as a team to put this event on. And you can walk away now. Like, oh my gosh. People.
I am so tired of it.
It's awful.
If you want, see this, that was the moment. That was the moment that made me want to give up like a couple months ago, because I had a similar thing. This was an indoor wedding. Okay. This was an indoor wedding. We were unloading this particular place. You do not there's a partial cover over the top of the loading dock in the back. But if you're unloading from a car, you physically have to take everything out and slide it on the covering.
Oh my
But
God.
not all of that is covered. The skies opened up. Everything got rained on. Bouquets, vase, boxes, you name it, it all got wet.
What did
I
you
was like,
do?
oh my God. But because I'm there and I'm professional, you keep the party going. The cake person, she helped us move everything in. We got everything in there. The bride, there's a reason why we want to be a part of everything so that it is perfect. The bride left a box, and this box had a very important items in it, like the aisle runner.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. There was just a lot of things missing. This vendor was supposed to bring a hoop. She advertised one particular hoop for rent. What was dropped off was something completely different.
Oh no.
Yes, and it was supposed to be crystals and flowers on it. We tried to put the flowers, the thing started tilting. I said, I can't do this, Jesus. I
Nope.
cannot. One of the roses fell off the bouquet because it got drenched. But because I am a professional, I was trained to repair a rose on spot with a gauge wire. I can do
Amazing.
it. Gauge wire went through my finger. Okay.
Oh no.
While all this is going on, my son is also having a graduation party. Okay. So I'm like missing the graduation, but it's fine. My clients paid me to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dedicated. It's fine. My mom was at the party. His other mom, which is like a family friend, we call her his other mom. She was there. There were people in place to be there for him so that I can do my job. But the wedding started 30 minutes late. The bridesmaids were not ready. It was just, everything about it was just, and it was one of those weddings. And I said, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. And then I got that dreadful email the couple days later with like a list of things that were wrong.
And people have no clue what you do
They
behind
have
the
no
scene
clue.
to pull it together. They
And
have
she's
no
like,
clue.
I didn't have any rose petals. And my daughter didn't have rose petals to throw down the aisle. And I had them. They were ready. They were available. They were in a bucket. They were ready for you guys. Wedding planner told me not to put them out because you guys didn't have an aisle runner. And she said the wedding was running late and she did not want to deal with that. What am I
Oh,
supposed to do? You know what I
exactly.
mean? So it's just like, it was so absolutely love the wedding planner. She's sweet. I've worked with her multiple times. So I love her. There was this disconnect between the bride, the wedding planner, myself, and all these other vendors. You cannot plan a wedding by yourself if you've already hired a wedding planner. That's their job. It's our job to know that you're bringing in this, you're bringing in that, not this last minute stuff where your family is toting 8 boxes up the stairs and we're supposed to figure out what to do with all the stuff inside these 8 boxes. It's not on the spreadsheet. None of the stuff is accounted for. Like, I have no idea what this stuff is. Like, none.
It's a
And so
nightmare.
it is an absolute nightmare. So at that moment, I was like, no, this is the time where I launched the Lux line. It's the time.
Look at how it pushed you.
It pushed me, and I am so excited. You cannot even imagine the happiness that I feel of what's about to go down. Okay. It's hard for me to remember that I'm on a podcast with you because I talk to you like you are my girlfriend and like you are my family. And sometimes we're just on here shooting the shit. And so I apologize to the listeners, but you guys do not understand
You were
the
all good.
world of millennials and getting married and the curse of Pinterest and the bank accounts and this and this and that. Like, I had one bride just call me and said, you know what, Curry, we don't need your services anymore. And I'm like, it's fine. But it was great because she was honest with me. They could
Good.
not afford it. They could not afford
Good.
it. The first invoice was coming up and they've already paid the retainer. They know that that's non-refundable. It's in the contract. But it got to the first payment and they they bit off more than they could chew. I don't mind being honest like that. I don't mind. Things happen. This is not a perfect world. I get it. But it's made me stronger. That last wedding going awry, it broke me down for a couple days. I'm not gonna lie. I was depressed. I had just dropped my son off to college. I was like, I'm not washing my hair. I'm only gonna eat cookies. No protein. No protein.
Cookies and ice cream and sugar. Because it makes me feel better.
Correct. So it broke me down. And she doesn't understand how defeated I felt as being an entrepreneur. Because I've never, ever had to issue a refund to anybody. I've never had received an email like that. This is 7 years of doing this, and that was the first and the absolute last.
And there's always a first, and there's always a last. But you don't know what you don't know until you start to just experience these things. And sometimes you just have to experience it. So you mentioned bank accounts, and thank goodness this client was honest with you, because there have been times in the past where I try to make it work. And then not only do I not make money, I am paying them, the client, to then do it for them.
Correct.
And typically, they are like the most unappreciative people. I'm not going to call them bad people, but because, again, they don't know what they don't know. But let's talk for a moment about where you were in terms of, oh, I'm a hobbyist. I want to do this for fun, but I might get burnt out. Am I really making any money? Like, how did you change over from like that old mentality to, oh, I actually should probably start tracking and making sure that I am being profitable? What was the first step?
There was, after you and I talked and we had our meeting, I was pumped. I was excited. I was working on some things. But as a business owner, there's also procedures and things that you have to do. There's ways of you to track your money. There's certain documents and paperwork you need. Unless you went to school for business, you would never know. There's resale licenses that you need. There's just all these things. You have to find a wholesaler that you like, a grower that you like, if you want to go with a grower. There's just all these things, and it's just not slapping some beautiful stuff together on a table. That's a hobby. Okay. When there was this pivotal moment where we did this wedding, and my husband was like, why are we in the red?
I like your husband.
Where's the money? He's like, where is the money? He's like, it seems like every time you got a wedding curry, we're code red for a couple days after that. And we're around here like, not eating top ramen, but we're damn near there. You know what I mean? It's like, you're supposed to be profitable.
Right.
But you are, I had to stop. It was affecting me personally. It was like, it was pulling out monies that from my personal money, because it's like, oh, I forgot to charge for that, or oh, I forgot to do this, or oh, I forgot that. So that's when you start putting together these processes. I always add extra money. I'm not going to say I add extra money. I always add extra floral. Things break in transport. Okay. We put all of our centerpieces on shelves. We wrap them with cellophane and we load them onto trucks. That's how we transport. That's how I transport my larger and smaller centerpieces. It works beautifully, and I love that process. But sometimes things can break in transport. Hydrangeas could snap. Any flower can snap. It has a branch. Water sources, vases or vases can tip over. All these different things can happen. So not only do I quote them for what's needed, but I also add an extra. Like the girl was like, I only have 15 tables. Well, I'm going to do 17 because something could break. If there's a vase that breaks when we get there, I have to be able to replace that. Okay. Somebody else asked me, why do I require full payment 60 days before the event? Because if I'm ordering something specifically for your wedding and it comes in damaged, I need enough time to return that to the vendor and get a replacement. You can't do that when you're down to the wire. You can't. They don't understand that there's little things that we need that we have to charge for. There's floral tape, there's ribbon, there's pen. If y'all knew how much a floating candle was, I swear to God, you wouldn't ask for it. Okay?
Even wholesale, not retail. That's wholesale.
You know? And then it's like, you also have to have backup plans for your backup plans.
That's
because
right.
that particular flower, because the soil is different, because the moisture is different, because they've had more rain than they typically have, that particular flower could come out a completely different color or off a shade, or what comes in does not look good. It's extremely saturated. Flowers are like children. I found myself, educating my clients more.
Amen.
Everybody thought that we were doing time lapses because they were cool. No, we're doing time lapses so I can show you why you are paying that production fee. Like, seriously, that last wedding that I helped with the flower shop, we hung 10,000 tulips.
Wow.
Overhead floating chandelier at the Country Music Hall of Fame. The labor, how labor intensive it was, like, there's a reason why these things have a cost to them.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. If you want me to move this from this place to this place after the ceremony's over, there is a fee for that. The item may have to be broken down. It may be a 2-part process. It may need 2 people to happen. Usually a flip, we only have a certain amount of time. They don't call it happy hour because they don't call it cocktail hour because you get a full hour. Sometimes the cocktail hour is 45 minutes. So it means that I have to have all hands on deck to completely flip this room. And depending on what venue you're at, there's a possibility that you could get some help from the staff of the venue, but it really depends on the venue and if they like you.
And most venues don't have people to A, help you, or B, some people would sit back and be like, they're stupid, they're incompetent, they're this, they're that. And I hate it when people do that because, again, it's like they don't know what they don't know. And I'll never forget when the Omni opened in Nashville. We did the very first wedding there. It was an Indian wedding of all cultures. And the banquet staff there, they were just trying to help. They were putting the linens on inside out. They were scorching the side of the votives. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. So I'm like, did you all go through training? Because these are seams and it's like you're wearing your clothes inside out. Correct. And I'm like, and then when you turn the votive that way, it makes the glass black. And so I just want to make sure you guys, you were trained, right? And they're all looking at me like, no. I'm like, okay, everybody huddle around here. There's 3 things and we'll talk about this later. And like, I'm not upset, but you got to go back and make sure that every linen is not only this way, but the seams are this way because guests are coming in this way. And then if you lit candles because you're trying to help, thank you, but go to the bathroom and get a rag or go into the back of the catering kitchen and get a wet rag and wipe the side of those candles that you made black. And so it taught them, it's like, I wasn't rude. They're not stupid, but like no one told them this.
No one.
And they don't know. And so it just, it's so sad to me sometimes when people react so negatively. And so the key word that you have said is education. And you know that that's where my heart is.
It is. I know we're going to be losing you in the wedding world pretty soon.
Well, I need to educate. Like the older I get, the younger they get, and they don't know what they don't know. And somebody has got to step up and teach these people, because if not, our industry is going to continue to go down, not up. And we've got to stay elevated. We've got to stay stick together. We've got to support each other.
Yep.
And again, going back to GSDing and getting shit done and making sure that you're being profitable and you can do your passion and you can do this full time, but you've got to know a little bit about business.
Correct.
So,
I mean, I literally had to tell one venue, I was like, I understand that we have to be out of here by a certain time. I usually try to get back for strike possibly 30, 40 minutes before everything starts to die down, because we're back there and we're separating things and we're organizing things so that we can strike and put all the vases back into the correct boxes, that we have certain special containers for votives. I don't, if your team is going to blow out the candle, that's fine. One, do not blow it out like you're Shrek. Do you know how much work it is that I have to take all of the wax off of that pillar candle or out of that Moet vase? Like, you don't understand. So blow it out. Try not to do it like it's a hurricane. And just leave them there. Or if you want to put everything together, just put it on one table. Like, I appreciate you wanting to help, but when there are mirror pillars, Lord Jesus, from Accent Decor that are extremely fragile, and you guys are lifting this up like it's a paper box, you're my nerves bad, okay? Because I pay a lot of money for my inventory. I have a lot of crystal, a lot of things in our storage that a lot of florists and designers don't have. New things that have come out that they don't have, and this stuff costs money. It really does. So I understand you want to be gone, and I understand you want everything broken down, and we're going to do that, but we're going to do that without breaking my stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were like, yes, ma'am. It's just like, I don't go to Hobby Lobby and pick up the stuff, despite what these brides may think. I don't.
Exactly.
Okay.
It don't work like that.
No,
It's not that easy.
I'm buying these items in wholesale. I'm buying them in large quantities, even down to the candles. I'm buying them in large quantities, and they're not stored just anywhere. They're stored in air conditioned, so that they won't melt. So there's just, the last 3 years has been so pivotal for me and my business, learning, being hands-on, understanding what works, what does not work. But there's another level that Curry & Co. is going to, and I'm excited to see where God is taking me. I'm excited to see this brand move in the direction that I want it to. I don't want to just be a regular, oh, I know Curry or da-da-da-da-da. No, everybody who's somebody in this industry, I want them to have great things to say about me. I want them to say, I haven't worked with her yet, but I'm excited to, because she's really sweet. She's kind. I saw her work. It's beautiful. She's professional. I'm always on time. I've never been late to an event.
Despite all the stuff you have to go through to get there.
Oh my God, geez. And then we may have to talk about this when it's not recorded, but I had to get a new assistant. Yeah.
Oh.
Don't you love those stories? Don't you? Absolutely. It's hard to find good help, sweet Jesus.
But it makes you stronger.
It does. And so we have some great new team members. For larger weddings, I have a group of freelancers that will come and help me for larger events. Women that I know their work and that they're beautiful. And these are kind, sweet girls. So I'm super excited to have those extra hands as far as loyalty to help me out. So I'm excited about everything. I cannot wait. If you can stop by the venue on the 28th just to check it out, you are more than welcome. We'll send you home with some goodies and some cakes and that kind of stuff. But it's do or die for me. This is such a huge moment, and I'm going to celebrate it, and I'm going to enjoy this moment because I've worked hard to get here.
That's right.
I've worked hard. This is not an overnight thing. Lord knows.
And so I want to make sure that I clarify something, because some people, they ask me, they're like, what are your thoughts on photo shoots? And what are your thoughts on styled shoots? And what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? And so I know you well. And so I know what you are going to be doing and putting out is something that is obtainable in the culture that we live in right now. And so there are some times where I'm talking or speaking and I'm like, I don't do photo shoot. I don't do that. Like it's And so, just to clarify, I think it's wonderful to do a styled shoot when you know what you're doing and you can
Mhm.
recreate it and you've got the team to do it and you're launching some new ideas, you're launching a new
Mhm.
brand, and you absolutely 100% are putting photos and videos out there of things that you can recreate. The style
Correct.
shoots and the photo shoots I do not believe in is when you're creating this off the wall shit that, of course, it's going to make people pin it and share it and it's going to go all around the internet. But when you
Yep.
can't create it for 3, 4, 500 people, why the F are you doing it?
Correct.
So I love that because you're a realist. And I also know that you have set a couple goals for yourself. And
Mhm.
so, what are some of those goals, and what are you doing to work towards those goals every day?
So one of the goals that I have is in 2 years, I've let me tell you something. I've had offices all over Nashville. I've had warehouse spaces. I've had a bunch of stuff, and they don't always work out for me. Um, One, because I'm jumping and I was not planning. One of my goals is to have a space in an ideal location. And in this space, I want to have beautiful floor to ceiling windows because I love window treatments. A lot of people don't know, but I used to do window treatments for Victoria's Secret.
Oh, wow. I knew that. That's awesome.
Yeah, about 18 years ago, I did makeup for Victoria's Secret, and I also did their window displays. So I love doing window displays. Um, it's where my heart. I just absolutely love it. So I want to have a space where there's beautiful floor to ceiling windows, so clients can come in and actually see walking by, like, oh my God, that is so stunning. I want them to be able to walk in and have a little bit of a showroom, even though I do get a lot of my rental items for tabletops and stuff like that through companies like Please Be Seated and White Door and that kind of thing. There are certain items that neither one of them carry, so I try to have those, especially like more rose gold options, because that's my signature color and my style. And I've noticed I've had a lot of clients really love the rose gold just as much as I do. So we're bringing in more charger options and plates and that kind of thing that has a little bit more table numbers. I have a lot of picture frames and things like that that are gold, and terrariums and that kind of thing. So we're bringing in a lot more options, but I want to have an area where they can actually go and look at things. And I want to have a photo wall. I want to have a canvas, big, huge canvas wall of all of my favorite bouquets, brides, dresses, things that just, it's almost like showing my growth over the years of my favorite things, and I want to be able to have that. I want to have a conference room that's large enough to fit at least 12 people, so that different vendors can come and we can powwow and we can talk. I want to have a big, huge screen TV on the wall so that we can pull up things through Apple TV and talk about things, and pull up Pinterest, and I can actually meet with my clients. I would like to have an extra room, not too big, but large enough to where we can do classes, floral classes. I love them, but it's really hard to find a space that is comfortable. I did my first floor class about a year ago. It was super successful. A lot of people have been asking me to do it again.
You
I did that at
should.
I love teaching too. I love, and it's just, I don't have to teach you how to do all this stuff, but just some of the basic things so that you can feel confident enough to walk into your local Trader Joe's and you can do yourself a personal centerpiece to make you happy every single week, because everybody does not, have the money to invest in these delivery services of flowers every single month, or monthly subscription services or something like that. So just enough for them to know, to be able to go in there and confidently pick out, some beautiful flowers and filler flowers and greenery, and know what they're looking for. So I want to have a space where we can do that, and maybe hold like small, just small events, like just maybe like a floral crown class, or like if somebody just wants to have tea with their girls, or like a little small bridal shower, something like that. Nothing huge, but I want a multi-purpose space. But more, like I said, the showroom in the front, and then in the back, I want there to be multiple tables for my designers. and then
I
warehouse
love it.
space in the back. So there's a lot of companies that have that same sort of thing or setup, but they're mostly in LA because they do the Oscars. They do a lot of events with just movies and award ceremonies. So they have more of that setup in LA and maybe a few in Miami, but there's nothing like that here in Nashville. And that's what I want to do. I want it to be a design firm. I want it to be a multifunctional space. And I want to be able to do mock-ups right then and there for my client. It's hard to go to all of these different venues and get permission to come in and do a mock-up, and then you have to work with whatever coordinator is there, and then they may not want to stay to do it, so it's just, I want a space where I can have the bride and her family come, as well as the wedding planner, and look at the mock-up and look at all of the beautiful items and vases and center. People laugh at me when I say vases. They're like, they know. Everybody I've been around lately, I've been the oldest one in the room. I'm like, I call it whatever the hell I want to call it.
That's right.
Like I said peony one time to one girl, and she's like, "You mean peonies?" I was like, "Listen, it costs the same price, okay?"
Because I'm like country, I'm from the country, and so I'm like peony, and then they're like, "A what?" And then I'll say vase, and they're like, "What?" And it's like I make two syllables out of one.
You know what? But they knew what you were talking about.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I had to have a moment. I was like, "Girl, don't get extra with me, okay? I can spin circles around you. I'm older than you, your boyfriend, your dog. Like, don't do that. Like, let's not go there." So that is my ultimate goal, is for and I really want to get into corporate a little bit too. I love doing corporate events. I really do. Like this, we have the NFL draft here. Everybody and their mama was here. We had everybody from Spotify to Pepsi to, just ESPN. I just left when I did the site visit with Steak. She was telling me that they used the private room upstairs only for interviews. They were interviewing the football players up there. So ESPN had a camera and everything just like set up in that room. And I want to be able to bring in beautiful florals for things like that. So I'm trying to get into the corporate sector as well. I think every florist in Nashville is all different. They're all different. We all have something different to bring to the table. There's a couple of them that's trying to scale greenery all up on the damn walls, and I don't get that. But just like, I'm like, how in the hell is that beautiful? Like, I can go outside and look at the tree, and it does the same thing on my grandma's back wall. It's poison ivy, but you guys are just taking this weird. But but it's not for everybody. That's why I had to identify my own personal style. So that's what I'm
so proud of you.
Working on branding. We've gotten for my gift boxes, we've gotten custom like tissue paper, stickers, just giving people an overall experience. Delivering the personal flowers in specialty vases and boutonnieres and specialty boxes and that kind of thing. So I'm just cleaning things up a little bit. Still the same processes, just looking more whole and complete as a company.
And I love, it sounds like now that you know how to be profitable and you are making money, it sounds to me like you are reinvesting some of that back into yourself, your company, your business, and the people. Because without the people, we're some fun girls with cool ideas with no one to do them on. So it's all about reinvesting, and you're investing in yourself and your brand, which is very important. And in the beginning, it's hard to do that because you need money to make money, and then you can reinvest it.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm so sorry for the coughing, but I was in and out of coolers all last week.
All good.
And I'm like, what is going on? My poor body can't take it. I had to take some echinacea, Angela. Lord Jesus.
That's what us country girls do. We take echinacea and we don't feel good. And it's like, we don't have time to be sick.
To be done. Correct. We can't be sick, but I'm so excited. I am blessed.
I'm so
highly favored.
So excited for you, girl.
It's gonna be so beautiful.
It is. We are out of time. I could talk to you forever. But quickly, I want to just say, like, you have done such an amazing job. You have been pushed to the max. You're going to continue to be pushed as you launch the new brand of Curry & Co. Luxe. You are going to be pushed doing your candles and your gift boxes, and you're going to add to your inventory. And like, I can close my eyes and see it, that you're going to reach your goal. And I can also close my eyes and see it where all these people are going to be coming to you saying, can I rent that? And can I rent that? And can I do that? And you're going to be able to have the power to say yes or no.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to focus, relationships, and goals. And I could not be more excited for you because you can see it now. You can see it.
I can. There's a plan. You have to have a plan, people. I'm so sorry. You got to write it down.
Don't be sorry. It's just how it is.
Because, we all try to go free. I'm going to say this really quickly because I know you got to go, but it's like so excited in the moment. And you're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to start an Instagram and then you're trying to copy off of other people. And it's just like, no, be true to yourself, strategically plan. If it means getting a hotel room by yourself and just banging some stuff out and taking your laptop, do it. Write it down. As you reach these goals, check them off. As a matter of fact, when I get off of this phone with you, I'm going to go look back at the list that Aja sent me.
I love it.
I didn't miss nothing, I
love it.
I love you, ladies. I am so thankful for you and Aja for even starting and lighting this fire, because this is a blaze that I don't think is going to go away. And somebody tried to throw water on it a couple months ago, but I just, kept fuel in the fire. And I was like, no, not today, Jesus.
Right.
So I am so excited. I'm so pumped, and I cannot wait for everybody to see what happens from this new launch of this new brand. So I will share those photos with you, and I'm so excited.
Yay! Well, guys, if you do not follow Curry, you got to go and do it. And we will be looking for your new website, curryandcoevents.com, as you start gearing up to launch that. Congratulations on your new brand. And guys, again, be sure to check out Curry & Co. and be, like she said, be watching for those photos and those time lapses. Yeah. And you always can learn something from another professional in the industry. So thank you so much for your story and sharing your journey and where you've come. I'm so excited for you. And everybody for listening, thank you so much. Be sure to subscribe to Business Unveiled so you don't miss the next juicy episode of what is coming up next. So everybody have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
If you found this podcast helpful, please share it with your friends. And I'm so very grateful if you leave a review. Be sure you are a subscriber so you never, ever miss the juicy details of Business Unveiled. Also, be sure that you are part of my email list. And if you're not, sign up today at angelaprofit.com, where I share valuable resources and exclusive products with only my subscribers. Now, before I go, I want to ask you, if you have a story or a product to share with the creative industry, please let me know. To be considered as a guest on Business Unveiled, visit angelaprofit.com and submit a podcast guest form. Until next time, remember to stay productive and profitable.
You've been listening to Business Unveiled with Angela Profit. Join us next time as we share our experiences to help you be more productive and profitable in your creative business. For more great resources, visit angelaprofit.com.